Hello. Good morning. Coach Crazy Cat here with you from the Barn Fest in South Carolina. Super excited to be continuing on in the book of Numbers. We've got some really cool lessons that are going to come out today. We are reading from the 365-day reading plan. And Lord willing, we're going to get through 3 days today, which will be kind of cool. Which you don't have to feel pressured to keep up with me. If you want to press pause and come back later, feel free to do that. I'd rather you take the time to read it and to absorb it than to rush. I'm just cranking on because I'm having so much fun and learning so much, and also because I love reading the word and can't wait to have it shared, and I don't want to hold anyone up. So anyway, so we are on day 63, 64, and 65, which is Numbers 21 to 27. It's going to be pretty awesome. Let's start with talking to our Father. Okay, Father God, I just praise you so much for the freedom to still be able to speak our truth and to speak your word and to share you, Father, in this amazing book full of lessons and your word and your sword, Father, which is so helpful in every scenario and every situation that we face in this world. You've already been through it, and you've given us guidance if we just seek it, Father. I just praise you so much for this opportunity. It's just such an honor, and I pray that your words will be with me, and because I'm really nothing, this is all your work, and I just praise you and all. Amen. All right, let's do it. Numbers 21. You'll remember that the children of Israel have come out of Egypt, led by Moses and Aaron. They have encamped in the wilderness for 2 years at the base of Mount Sinai, which if you have not seen Ron Wyatt or Michael Rood's work on Mount Sinai, you've got to see it. A lot of people believe that it's in what looks like to be the wrong spot, and the actual footage is in Saudi Arabia, and they snuck in and got it, and you could actually see the base camp and everything, which is really cool. Because the rock is actually split where the water came out the first time. It was so awesome. Anyway, blah blah blah. I just love how God left. Sometimes, and I talk to people who really struggle with these stories in the book, and they go, "Wow, like the flood. You really think that happened?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, because the Bible said so." And if somebody, I guess for me, the choices are either we really were a blob that just like formed into all this amazing stuff. But I don't know, for me, I've never actually gone anywhere or done anything and seen things get better on their own. So for me, when I look around, you look at things are constantly in a state of like decay and dying. They're moving towards death. They're not moving towards improvement. So I don't see evolution existent in the world around me, right? Just looking with my own eyes. That's just my perspective. Everybody has their own view, and you are certainly entitled to it. And so anyway, so it's either that or you believe the book, right? And if you believe the book, you got to believe all the book. You can't cherry pick. So yeah, I believe that every bit of this like happened. And the cool thing is there's evidence out there that it did. So Ron Wyatt and Michael Rood have been to visit Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's amazing to see these buildings with angles and everything, like ash in the desert. It's just incredible. And then Mount Sinai, the real Mount Sinai, which is in Saudi Arabia. And there's a lot of footage that they took, and they had snuck in. They went to jail. It was like a mess. It was a long time ago, 80s, 90s, something like that. But anyway, I'll put links for both of those movies down below so you can check them out yourself. But it would be pretty neat to see the actual Mount Sinai with your own eyes, because it's easier to kind of really see the miracles that took place in this book. So it's either, evolution, we came from a blob and things got better, or, right, we were created and God spoke and here everything is, and everything else that took place in this amazing book is true, which I feel a whole lot happier believing that, which helps me worry about nothing, which is my favorite verse. And in this day and age, it's easy to worry and doubt and be frustrated. But if you get back to this book, you know that God has it and it'll be fine. But anyway, that's enough of that. So they encamped at Mount Sinai at the base for 2 years. And then they sent out the spies into the land, which was amazing, but also filled with giants. But God told them he was going to take them through it, but they didn't believe him. They didn't trust him. They didn't have faith. They didn't worry about nothing. And therefore, they whined, complained, and said, why did you take us out of Egypt? Which is just a massive insult, right? It's just complete lack of faith. And that's actually what got them in trouble. You know, normal sins don't get us in trouble, but the lack of faith is what will get us in serious trouble. The lack of faith will keep you from getting saved. And the lack of faith will keep you from living God's purpose in your life. It's pretty crazy how the enemy comes at us with doubts, that little inner bully I'm always talking about, that little negative voice that tells you you can't and that doesn't make sense, and be reasonable and be like everyone else and yakety yakety yak. That little inner bully, doubt, fear person is all alive the enemy, and it's sent to us to keep us stuck, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, so let's start. The children have now gone into the land. They spied for 40 days. They whined, complained, and now they're wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. And they're having all kinds of, instead of actually going, lack of faith got us into trouble, let's go back to faith. It's lack of faith got us into trouble, but I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to put on my pride instead. And I'm going to just start raising Cain and causing more problems, which is really interesting. So anyway, so here we go. Numbers 21. And the sovereign of Arad, the Canaanite who dwelt in the south, heard that Israel was coming on the way to Atharim, and he fought against Israel and took some of them captive. Then Israel made a vow to Jehovah and said, if you deliver this people into my hand, indeed, then I shall put their cities under the ban. And Jehovah listened to the voice of Israel and gave up the Canaanites, and they put them in their cities under the ban. So the name of that place was called Hormah. And they departed from Mount Hor by the way of the Sea of Reeds to go around the land of Edom. But the being of the people grew impatient because of the way. So here we go again, murmuring, complaining, and being impatient, even though bread falls out of the sky that you can make anything out of, and we still complain. And I'm not trying to pass judgment on them, because goodness knows I have my own state of murmuring. Good night. Here I live in this beautiful barnfest next to my grandparents, and the least little thing goes wrong with the internet, and you'd think I was like the children in the wilderness. It's hard to not complain. Our human self is just like a natural complainer, and it's like takes everything, every bit of my power, focus on the word, worry about nothing, to get back to not complaining. Anyway, grew impatient, and the people spoke against Elohim and against Moshe. Why have you brought us out of Mitzrayim to die in the wilderness? There is no food, no water, and our being loathes this light bread. So here they are complaining about the manna, the free manna that comes out of the sky that tastes like coriander and looks like bdellium, and they can make anything out of it. They're complaining. Jehovah had it again, and he sends fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the children died. And when the people came to Moshe and said, we sinned, for we spoke against Jehovah and against you, pray to Jehovah and take away the servants from us. So Moshe prayed on behalf of the people. And Jehovah said to Moshe, make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live. So Moshe made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole, and it came to be, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. And the children of Israel set out and camped in Abath. They departed from Abath and camped at Habarim in the wilderness, which is east of Moab, towards the sunrise. From there they set out and encamped at the Wadi Zered. And from there they set out and encamped on the other side of Arnon, which is the wilderness, and extends from the border of the Amorites, for the Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. So remember, Moab, I think Moab is from Lot, and the Ammonites are from Lot. I forget where the Amorites are from, but they're all kind of related to each other and all the same offshoot. Therefore, it is said in the book of the battles of Jehovah, Waheb and Suphah, the Wadi Arnon, and the shape of the wadi that turns aside to the dwelling of Ar, lies in the border of Moab. And from there to Beer, which is the well where Jehovah said to Moshe, gather the people and let me give them water. And Yisrael sang the song, spring up, O well, sing to it, a well that leaders sank, which the nobles of the people dug with their staves by the word of the inscriber, which is Jehovah Jesus. Then from the wilderness to Mattanah, from Mattanah to Nahil, from Nahil to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looks down on the wasteland. And Yisrael sent messengers to Sihon, sovereign to the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through your land. We shall not turn off the fields or the vineyards, nor shall we drink water from the wells, but go by the sovereign's highway until we have passed over your border. But Sihon would not allow Yisrael to pass through the border. So Sihon gathered all his people and went against Yisrael in the wilderness, and he came to the Yahats and fought against Yisrael. And Yisrael struck them with the edge of the sword and took possession of his land from Arnon to Yabok, as far as the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. So Ammon is the other. Remember when Lot left Sodom and Gomorrah and his two daughters slept with him? The Ammonites and the Moabites came from him. That's where they started from. And Yisrael took all these cities, and Yisrael dwelt in the cities of the Amorites and Heshbon and in all of its villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the sovereign of the Amorites, who fought against the former sovereign of Moab and had taken all of his land as far as Arnon. That is why those who speak in Proverbs say, come to Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and established. For the fire went out from Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It consumed Ar of Moab, the masters of the heights of Arnon. Woe to you, Moab! You have perished, O people of Carmash. He has given his sons as fugitives and his daughters into captivity to Sihon, the sovereign of the Amorites. No, ma'am. Thank you. Then we shot them. Heshbon has perished as far as Dibon, and we laid waste as far as Nophi, which reaches to Medeba. Yeah. Meydeba. So Yisrael dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and Moshe went out to spy out Yazer, and they took its villages and drove out the Amorites who were there, and turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, went out against them, he and all of his people, to battle at Edrei. And Jehovah said to Moshe, do not fear him, for I have given him into your hand with all of his people and all of his land, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. And they struck him and his sons and all of his people until no remnant was left to him, and they took the possession of his land. So I had written down Genesis 10:16. So let me get back there. And I think that's where it talks about the Moabites. So I believe they were an offshoot of Ham. So Genesis 10:16 will confirm. 10 and 16, yes. And Canaan is the son of Ham. So Ham was the son who did bad acts to Noah, remember? And because of that, Noah cursed Canaan, who was the son of Ham, because you don't curse your own son because the curses roll to you. You curse your grandson because the curses roll to his father. So anyway, so you got Canaan, and one of his children or offshoots is the Amorites, which is in Genesis 10 and 16. And God tells them to wipe them completely out. And it says here at the end of Numbers 21 that there was no remnant left. So I don't know if that means that the Amorites are completely wiped out at this point. I don't think they come back later. But you can just park that as one of the things in your head. So that's the end of 21. You got the children are wandering in the wilderness. God's protecting them. He's giving them land. They're trying to live in peace among the people, but a lot of people are fighting with them. They obviously have quite a reputation because they know that they've got this powerful God, the true God, who's brought them out of Egypt and is protecting them. And so there's a lot of people who want to harm them, which we will talk about in this next chapter, where we have this very interesting story about Balaam, which you may or may not heard of. But Balaam, this is an interesting story. I'm just going to read it the way it is, and then I'm going to give you some additional verses throughout the word. The bottom line about Balaam is greed. So, and we can all think about that and take that on board. We trust the Father if you're a Christian, right? If you believe in Jesus, and you believe in Jesus, but greed is still a sin and it's still a thing. And we live in this world and there's a lot of things that we want. It's a lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, things that we want. And greed can cause us to do weird and odd things to other people. And Balaam is full of greed, which we won't see as clearly in this story, but we do see throughout the word in many, many, many places, which I will share with you. All right. So in Numbers 22, and the children of Israel set out and camped in the desert plain of Moab beyond the Jordan of Jericho. And Balak, son of Zippor, saw that all that Israel had done to the Amorites. So here we were just talking about Balak, the son of Zippor, saw that Israel has been wiping out the Amorites. They have a strong reputation, and he's a little bit worried. So he was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was in dread because of the children of Israel. And Moab said to the elders of Midian, Now this company is licking up all that is around us as a ox licks up the grass of the field. Now Balak, son of Zippor, was sovereign of the Moabites at that time. And he sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor, at Pethor, which is near the river in the land of the sons of his people, to call him, saying, see, a people has come from Mitzrayim. See, they have covered the surface of the land and are settling next to me. Now, please come at once, curse this people for me, for they are too strong for me. It might be that I strike them and drive them out of the land, for I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you cursed is cursed. So this Balaam guy has a reputation of being close to God and being like a prophet of God, I guess, or whatever, and known for being able to do things that God tells him to do. So this Balak calls over Balaam and says, come help me. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian left with the fees for divination. So that's where you see the part about the money, the fees for divination. So they're paying him to try to do a divination against the children of Israel. And they came to Balaam and spoke the words of Balak to him. And he said to them, spend the night here, and I shall bring back word to you as Jehovah speaks to me. So the heads of Moab stayed with Balaam. And Elohim came to Balaam and said, who are these men with you? Like you didn't already know. And Balaam said to Elohim, Balak, the son of Zippor, sovereign of Moab, has sent to me, saying, see, a people has come out of Mitzrayim and cover the surface of the land. Now come, curse them for me. It might be that I'm able to fight against them and drive them out. And Elohim said to Balaam, do not go with them. Do not go with them. Do not curse the people, for they are blessed. Do not go with them. I'm actually going to highlight that. Do not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the heads of Balak, go back to your land. Jehovah has refused to allow me to go with you. So the first time he follows, right? And the heads of Moab arose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. And Balak again set heads more numerous and more esteemed, right? With more esteemed being important. So they keep coming at him, trying to go after his greed. They came to Balaam and said to him, this is what Balak, son of Zippor, sorry about that, said, do not be withheld from coming to me, please. Good girl, baby. I'll give you some snacks in a minute. For I esteem you very greatly, and whatever you say to me, I do. Therefore, please come and curse the people for me. And Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house filled with silver and gold, I am unable to go beyond the word of Jehovah, my Elohim, to do more or less. So this is a really interesting statement. So at least at this point, it appears that he is saying, listen, I can't go. Jehovah, my Elohim, said I can't, so I'm not coming. And now, please, you also stay here tonight and let me find out what more Jehovah says to me. And Elohim came to Balaam at night and said, if the men come to call, rise and go with them, but only do the word which I speak to you to do. And Balaam rose in the morning and saddled his donkey and went with the heads of Moab. But the displeasure of Elohim burned because he went. And the messenger of Jehovah stationed himself in the way as an adversary against him. And Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. And the donkey saw the messenger of Jehovah standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. The donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back on the way. When the messenger of Jehovah stood in the narrow passage between the vineyards with a wall on this side and a wall on that side, and when the donkey saw the messenger of Jehovah, he pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot. And the messenger of Jehovah went further and stood in the narrow place where there was no way to turn aside right or left. And when the donkey saw the messenger of Jehovah, she laid down under Balaam. So Balaam's displeasure was burned, and he struck the donkey with his staff. And then Jehovah opened the mouth of the donkey and said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? Can you imagine if a donkey spoke? And Balaam said to the donkey, because you have mocked me, I wish there were a sword in my hand, for I would have killed you by now. And the donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey on which you have ridden since I became yours to this day? Was I ever known to do so to you? And he said, no. Then Jehovah opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the messenger of Jehovah standing in the way with his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell on his face. And the messenger of Jehovah said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? I have come out to stand against you because your way is reckless before me. So obviously, even though Jehovah told him to go, which I found to be a bit confusing at first, I think he was brought these fees of divination, and God knows his heart that he really wants to take the money. And he's putting him through a test. And this happens sometimes, right? And God in his sovereignty gets to do that, gets to test us. He's not going to test us beyond what we are able, right? So Jehovah didn't leave him. He didn't leave him on his own to kind of fend for himself. He's there with him. And he's giving him these warnings. But whenever you see the gentle messenger, which will be a donkey speaking, just kidding, which we will feel when you're on a wrong path, God's going to be like, wake up, knocking you on the head. You better turn around and go the other way before you get the harsh messenger. And the donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside, I certainly would have killed you and let her live. And Balaam said to the messenger, I have sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way. And now if evil is in your eyes, let me turn back. And the messenger of Jehovah said to Balaam, go with the men, but only speak the word that I speak to you that you speak. And Balaam went with the heads of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him in the city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the extremity of the border, just meaning the outside of the border. And Balak said to Balaam, did I not urgently send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to esteem you? Am I not able to esteem you? Here we go again with this greed brought up. And Balaam said to Balak, see, I've come to you. Now am I at all able to say somewhat the word that Elohim puts in my mouth that I speak? And Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirith-Hutzeth. And Balak slaughtered cattle and sheep and sent to Balaam and the heads who were with him. And it came to be morning. And Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the high places of Baal, which, you know, it's not good to sacrifice to God at the high places, but he takes him up there to the high places of Baal. And from there, he saw the extremity of the camp. So Balaam can now see everything from this high place, right? So 23. And Balaam said to Balak, build 7 altar places for me here and prepare 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam spoke, and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. And Balaam said to Balak, stand by your ascending offering and let me go on. It might be that Jehovah does come to meet me, and whatever he shows me, I shall declare it to you. And he went to a bare height. And Elohim came to Balaam, and he said to him, I have prepared the 7 slaughter places. I have offered on each slaughter place a bull and a ram. And Jehovah put a word in the mouth of Balaam and said, return to Balak, and this is what you say. And he returned to him and saw him standing by his ascending offering, he and all the heads of Moab. And he took up his proverb, and he said, Balak, the son of Moab, has brought me from Aaron, from the mountains of the east. Come, curse Jacob for me, and come rage at Yisrael. How do I curse whom El has not cursed, and how do I rage at whom Jehovah has not raged? From the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I observe him. Look, a people dwelling alone, not reckoning itself among the nations. Who shall count the dust of Jacob and the number of 1/4 of Yisrael? Let me die the death of the upright, and let my end be like this. And Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and look, you have kept on blessing. So Balaam keeps on blessing the children of Israel, and Balak is not happy about it. And Balak says, please come with me to another place where you may see them clearly. You see the extremity, but not all of them. Curse them for me from there. And he took them to the field of Sophim, to the top of Pisgah, so top of Mount Pisgah, and built 7 slaughter places and offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. And he said to Balak, stand here by your ascending offering while I meet over there. And Jehovah came to Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go back to Balak and say this. So he went to him and saw him standing by his ascending offering, and the heads of Moab with him. And Balak asked him, what did Jehovah say? And he took up his proverbs and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, son of Zippor. El is not a man to lie, nor a son of man to repent. Has he said, and would he not do it? Or spoken, and would not confirm it? See, I have received to bless, and he has blessed, and I do not reverse it. He has not looked up upon wickedness in Jacob, nor has he seen trouble in Yisrael. Jehovah, his Elohim, is with him, and the shout of his sovereign, of a sovereign, is in him. El, who brought them out of Mitzrayim, is for them like the horns of a wild ox. For there is no sorcery against Jacob, nor is there any divination against Yisrael. Now it is said to Jacob and to Yisrael what El has done. Look, a people rises like a lioness and lifts itself up like a lion. It lies not down until it devours the prey and drinks not the blood of the slain. And Balak said to Balaam, do not curse at all, nor bless them at all. And Balaam answered and said to Balak, have I not spoken to you, saying all that Jehovah speaks and all that I do? And Balak said to Balaam, please come, let me take you to another place. It might be right in the eyes of Elohim that you curse them for me from there. This guy just won't give up. And Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor that overlooks the wasteland. And Balaam said to Balak, build 7 slaughter places for me here and prepare 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam said and offered a bull and a ram on each slaughter place. Chapter 24. And when Balaam saw that it pleased Jehovah to bless Israel, he did not go as at other times to use sorcery, but he set his face toward the wilderness. When Balaam saw it pleased Jehovah to bless Israel, he did not go as other times to seek to use sorcery, but he set his face toward the wilderness. This is where the sin happens. So he's come up and he's done the altar, and he knows that God's going to tell him again to bless the children. But instead of actually going to actually talk to Jehovah, as he should have done, he put his face toward the wilderness, and Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to their tribes. And the spirit of Elohim came upon him. And he took up his proverbs and said, the saying of Balaam, son of Beor, and the saying of the man whose eyes are open, the saying of him who hears the words of El, who sees the vision of the Almighty, and who falls down with his eyes opened wide. Wow, that's where it explains it. So it says here that he knew God. He knew God well. He knew what he was doing, and he sinned with his eyes wide open because he was greedy. And we'll see that in other places in the Bible a little more clearly. I used to be confused by this story, but now that I'm reading it for like the 5th or 6th time, I'm finally getting it. So you can see here, he fell down with his eyes opened wide. How good are your tents, O Jacob, and your dwellings, O Yisrael, like wadis that stretch out, like gardens, like a river, like aloes planted by Jehovah, like cedars below water. He makes water flow from his buckets, and his seed is in many waters. His sovereign is higher than Agag, and his reign is exalted. El, who brought him out of Mitzrayim, is for them like the horns of a wild ox. He devours nations, his enemies, and he breaks their bones with his arrows. He lay down like a lion, and like a lion who would rouse him. Blessed he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. Then the displeasure of Balak burned against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Balak then said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, and you've kept on blessing these 3 times. Now flee to your place. I said I would greatly esteem you, and see, Jehovah has kept you back from esteem. So this is where Balak is saying, I was going to give you a bunch of money and esteem and power, but he did not do it. And so Balaam said to Balak, did I not also speak to your messengers whom you sent to me, saying, if Balak would give me his house filled with silver and gold, I'm unable to go beyond the word of Jehovah to either do good or evil of my own heart. What Jehovah speaks, that I speak. And now see, I'm going to my people. Come, let me advise you what this people is going to do to your people in the latter days. And he took up his proverbs and said, the saying of Balaam, the son of Beor, the saying of the man whose eyes are open, the saying of him who hears the words of El and knows the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes opened wide. I see him, but not now. I observe him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy the sons of Sheth. And Edom shall be a possession, and Seir shall be a possession. Enemies, and Israel is doing mightily. And out of Jacob one shall roll, one meaning Jesus, and destroy the remnant from Ar. And he looked on Amalek, and he took up his proverb. Amalek was first among the nations, but his latter end is to perish forever. And he looked upon the Canaanites, and he took up his proverbs and said, firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. But Cain is to be burned. Till when does Asher keep you captive? And he took up his proverb and said, oh, who does live when El does this? And ships shall come from the coast of Kittim, and they shall afflict Asher and Eber, and so he shall perish. And Balaam arose and left and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way. So that's the end of that story. And I've always been confused by it because I thought that Balaam actually stood up and did what was right. But other places in the Bible, we see that he let greed get to him, and it comes up over and over again. One of the places is in Revelations 2:14, where Jesus is speaking to the churches. And this is a warning against greed. And it says, behold, I hold a few matters against you, because you have there those who adhere to the teaching of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat food offered to idols and to commit whoring, meaning idolatry. So what Balaam, during this whole, and I don't really see it here, honestly, in this writing in Numbers, we get it later in the Bible, but what Balaam would never curse Israel, because he knew he couldn't. God probably would have struck him dead right then, although he does later. But what he did instead was to somehow show Balak that what he needed to do was go down and send his daughters among the children of Israel, so that they intermarried, and then they would commit idolatry, which they end up doing starting in chapter 25. So between this writing, there obviously is another discussion or another something where Balaam takes the money. He must have, as it says it in the New Testament, and that he showed Balak to send his daughters among the Israelites, so that they then turn to idolatry. And then that way that Balak could actually win by taking them down from the inside, which is, anyway, never mind. So in Jude 1:11, woe to them, because they have gone the way of Cain, and gave themselves to the delusion of Balaam for a reward, and perished in the rebellion of Korah. 2 Peter 2:15, having left the right way and went astray, having followed the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. So he allowed the greed and the esteem to get to him. And then Numbers 31:16, look, they are the ones who caused the children of Israel through the word of Balaam to trespass against Jehovah in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the children of Jehovah. And that's in Numbers. So it's saying that Balaam did go to Balak, and he got them to commit idolatry by intermarrying. And the sons of Israel killed with the sword of Balaam, son of Beor, the diviner, among those who were killed by them. So in Joshua, chapter 13, verse 22, Balaam is actually specifically killed, and it says so by Joshua and his men. He is taken out. So God gets his own, and he gets his way later. And he's spoken of not very positively in the New Testament as far as a warning of greed. All right, 25. And Israel went into Shittim, and the people began to whore with the daughters of Moab. So here we go. This is where it started. And it was because Balaam gave Balak that idea. And they invited the people to the slaughterings of their mighty ones, and the people ate and bowed down to their mighty ones. So the children of Moab invite them over. So he sends through his pretty women, and the boys start to marry, and they go over and do what the girls want. And that's how they started to bring idolatry into the camp of Israel. Thus, Israel was joined to Baal, which is an idol, Baal Peor, and the displeasure of Jehovah burned against Israel. And Jehovah said to Moshe, take all the leaders of the people and hang them up before Jehovah, before the sun. So the burning displeasure of Jehovah turns away from Israel. And Moshe said to the judges of Israel, each one of you, judges means rulers, is what I understand from like the Hebrew. So the rulers or judges of Israel, each one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal Peor. So everybody who's joined and who's eaten of the stuff sent to idols is going to be killed. And see, one of the children of Israel came and brought to his brother a Midianite woman before the eyes of Moshe and before the eyes of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tent of appointment. And when Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the children and took a spear in his hand. And he went after the men of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. Thus the plague among the children of Israel came to a stop. So you can see here that you've got a man of Israel sleeping with one of the women of Moab. That's where this is kind of talked about. And because of that, they are going into idolatry, and they're doing all kinds of sins, none of which God's happy about. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, who's going to be the high priest, kills them and stops the plague. Those who died in the plague were 24,000. So we've got 24,000 dead here. And the reason I'm marking that is because we also had a bunch dead before. 14, I think it was, or just shy of 15,000. So almost 40,000 have dropped dead. We're going to do another census. And so that's why that's important. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel because he was ardent with my ardor in their midst, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my ardor. Therefore say, see, I'm giving him my covenant of peace. So Phinehas is given a covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and his seed after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was ardent for his Elohim and made atonement for the children of Israel. And the name of the man of Israel who was struck with the Midianite was Zimri, son of Salu, the leader of a father's house among the Simeonites. Oh, you'll see why I'm happy about that in just a minute. I love it when the puzzle comes together. The word of God is a big puzzle, and all these pieces are all answered. You'll see why in a minute, but remember that's the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was struck was Cosbi, the daughter of Sur. He was the head of the people of the father's house of Midian. And Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, distress the Midianites, you shall strike them, for they distressed you with their tricks, with which they deceived you in the matter of Peor, in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the leader of Midian, their sister, who was struck on the way of the plague because of Peor. So this is the matter of Peor, which we talked about in the New Testament, the matter of Peor. That's what happened, is that Balaam got bought out with his greed by Balak. And he says, send your daughters. And this is the matter of Peor. The children intermarry and they start worshiping idols and they get themselves in major trouble. And 24,000 people are struck dead, mainly out of the house of Simeon, which we'll see later when we do the census. The house of Simeon is divided in half from the first census, which is kind of crazy. All right, so here we go. Numbers 26. And it came to be after the plague that Jehovah spoke to Moshe and Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saying, take a census of the children of all the congregation of the children of Israel from 20 years old and above by their father's house, everyone going out to the army in Israel. So we're going to do another census. We're going to see that, remember last time the number of the people was 603,550, that we did it earlier. I think it was earlier numbers. Yeah, at the beginning of numbers, we did a census. And we broke down each of the ones by the tribe. And I did that again so we could compare, which is how I know that Simeon dropped by about half. And I was like, they must have been involved in something. And they were 24,000. Most of them came out of Simeon, which you can see here. And they're going to pay for it forever because the land in Israel is divided based upon the number in your tribe. And Simeon now is going to be the smallest. And they used to not be, but they will be now. So the amount of land they get will be a whole lot less. Their inheritance will be a whole lot less because of this sin. Okay, so here we go on a count, and I am going to put a graph so that way you'll have the list of the names and the comparison of the numbers just so you can see it. But here we go. 26:3. So Moshe and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the desert plains by Moab by the Jordan of Jericho, saying, take a census of the people from 20 years old and above, as Jehovah commanded Moshe and the children of Israel who came out of the land of Mitzrayim. Reuben, the firstborn, sons of Reuben of Hanak, the clan of Hanakites. Palu, the son of the clan of the Paluites. Of Hetzron, the clan of the Hetzronites. Of Carmi, the clan of the Carmites. These are the clans of the Reubenites, and the registered ones were 43,730. And the sons of Palu, Eliab. And the sons of Eliab, Namuel, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram were called, remember, they got killed. They called of the congregation, and they contended against Moshe and against Aaron and the company of Korah when they contended against Jehovah. So remember that Dathan and Abiram, they weren't of the Levites, but they wanted to be in the temple. And they called out the company of Korah and stood up, and they got killed. They got swallowed up by the earth. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that company died, when the fire consumed 250, and they became a sign. But the sons of Korah did not die. So Dathan and Abiram of this tribe are wiped out forever. This is the Reuben, the son of Palu. So this is of Reubenites. So Palu's son were Dathan and Abiram. So these guys are wiped out forever because their entire family went. But Korah's family did not go. They stayed. They were Levites. So the sons of Korah did not die. The sons of Simeon, according to their clans, of Nemuel, the clan of the Nemuelites, of Yamin, the clan of the Yaminites, of Yakin, the clan of the Yakinites, of Zerah, the clan of the Zarahites, of Shaul, the son of the Shaulites. These are the clans of the Simeonites, 22,200. So the Simeonites are now down to 22,000. They used to be above 40,000. The sons of Gad, according to their clans, of Sephon, the clan of the Sephonites, of Hagi, the son of the Haggites, of Shuni, the son of the Shunites, Ozni, clan of Oznites, Eri, clan of Arites, Ardad, clan of Ardites, Areli, clan of Arelites. These are the clans of the sons of Gad, according to the registered ones, 40,500. The sons of Yehuda, Onan died in the land of Canaan, and the sons of Yehuda, according to their clans, of Shelah, the clan of the Shelanites, Peretz, the clan of the Parsites, Zerah, the clan of the Zarhites, and the sons of Peretz, of Hetzron, the clan of the Hetzronites, Hamul, the clan of the Hamulites. These are the clans of Yehuda, according to the registered ones, 76,500. And that clan has actually grown a lot. They're bigger than they were, which is cool because that's the clan that Jehovah comes out of, the tribe. The sons of Issachar, according to their clans, Tola, the clan of the Tolites, of Puah, the clan of the Punites, of Yasib, the clan of the Yasabites, of Shimron, the clan of the Shimronites. These are the clans of Issachar, according to the registered one, 64,300. The sons of Zebulun, according to their clans, of Sered, the clan of the Sardites, of Elon, the clan of the Elonites, of Yael, the clan of the Yalelites. These are the clans of the Zebulunites, according to the registered ones, 60,500. The sons of Joseph, according to their clans, by Manasseh and Ephraim. The sons of Manasseh, of Machir, the clan of Machrites. Machir brought forth Gilead, of Gileadites. These are the sons of Gilead, of Ezerites. Helek, the clan of the Helekites. Of Azriel, the clan of the Azraelites. Of Shechem, the clan of the Shechemites. Of Shemitah, the clan of the Shemitites. Of Hefer, the clan of the Heferites. Zelophehad, son of Hefer, had no sons but daughters, and the names of the daughters of Zelophehad, Mela, Noah, Hagla, Miklah, and Tirzah. Those girls will come up again a little bit later. These are the clans of Manasseh, and the registered ones, 52,700. These are the sons of Ephraim, according to their clans, of Shulath, the clan of the Shulathites, of Becher, the clan of the Bachrites, of Tahan, the clan of the Taanites, and these are the sons of Shulath, of Eran, the clan of the Eranites. These are the clans of the sons of Ephraim, according to the registered ones, 32,500. These are the sons of Joseph, according to their clans. Sons of Benjamin, according to their clans, of Bela, the clan of Belites, Ashbel, the clan of the Ashbelites. Sorry. Oh. Sorry, I've got like notes coming in that I'm all excited about. Anyway, family stuff. The sons of Benjamin, according to their clans, of Bela, Belites, Ashbel, Ashbelites, Iram, Iramites, Shephufam, clan of the Shufamites, Hufam, the Hufamites. The sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman, of Ard, the clan of the Ardites, Naaman, the clan of the Naamites. These are the clans of Benjamin, according to their clans, and the registered ones, 45,600. These are the sons of Dan, according to their clans. Shuham, here we go, incoming. The clan of the Shuhamites, these are the clans of Dan, according to their clans. And all the clans of the Shuhamites, according to their registered ones, 64,400. The sons of Asher, according to their clans, of Yimnah, the clan of the Yemnites. Yishwi, the clan of the Yishwites. Of Beriah, the son of the Berites. Of the sons of Beriah, of Heber, the clan of the Heberites. Of Malchiel, the clan of the Malchilites. The name of the daughter of Asher was Serah, and these are the clans of the sons of Asher, according to the registered ones, 53,400. Sons of Naphtali, according to their clans, of Yatzil, the clan of the Yatzilites. Of Guni, the clan of the Gunites. Of Yetzer, the clan of the Yetzerites. Of Shelam, the clan of the Shemalites. These are the clans of Naphtali, according to their clans, and the registered ones, 45,400. These are the registered ones of the children of Yisrael, 601,730. So they've gone down from 603,550 to 601,730. And these are men 20 years and older. So even though like the kids are growing, right, the children that they had are growing and they're growing into that 20-year period, we've had several people killed because of disobedience. So we're about at the same place. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, the land is to be divided to these as an inheritance according to the number of the names. So Judah is going to get the biggest piece of land, and Simeon now is going to get the smallest piece of land because they had 24,000 of them zapped dead because of their idolatry, which is a huge sin. To the large one, you give a larger inheritance, and to the small one, you give a smaller inheritance. Each one shall be given its inheritance according to its registered ones. But the land is to be divided by lot. They inherited according to the names of the tribes of their fathers. According to the lot, their inheritance is divided between the larger and the smaller. And these are the registered ones of the Levites according to their clans: of Gershon, the clan of the Gershonites; of Kehath, the clan of the Kehathites; of Merari, the clan and incoming. These are the clans of the Levites: the clan of the Libnites, the clan of the Hebronites, the clan of the Mahalites, the clan of the Mushites, the clan of the Korites. And Kehath brought forth Amram. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Mitzrayim. And to Amram she bore Aaron and Moshe, their sister Miriam. This is in here, and in 1 Chronicles 6:3 is where it tells us that Moses' parents only had 3 children. So that's how we know that Miriam was the daughter who was by the river Nile when Moses was taken in by Pharaoh's daughter. Point of trivia. And to Aaron were born Nadab and Abihu, and Nadab and Abihu died when they brought strange fire before Jehovah. And their registered ones were 23,000, every male from a new moon old and above, for they are not registered among the other children, because there is no inheritance given to them among the children of Israel. So the Levites are the priests. They have special special kind of things that they are to do. They're to take care of the poor, take care of the temple, take care of the tabernacle. And for that, they receive tithes from the children of Israel, which takes care of them and their families and the poor. I talked about that last time. These are the ones registered by Moshe and Eleazar the priest, who registered the sons of Israel in the desert by the plains of Moab, by Jordan, or the Jordan of Jericho. But among these, there was not a man of those registered by Moshe and Aaron, the priests, when they registered the sons of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For Jehovah said of them, they shall certainly die in the wilderness, and not a man was left of them except for Caleb, the son of Yephuneh, and Yahoshua, son of Nun. So that's back to when they sent in the spies, that the only 2 spies who trusted God and had faith were Caleb and Joshua, and they are going to lead the children into the promised land. Moses will die and Aaron will die because they struck the rock, which God had told them to speak to the rock, and they were a bad example. They didn't listen, and they sinned. All right, final chapter for today, God willing, Numbers 27. Then came the daughters of Sephohad. We just talked about these ladies. Son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Maker, son of Manasseh. So these are the daughters of Manasseh. From the clans of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these were the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Haglah, Miklah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moshe, and before Eleazar the priest, and before the leaders in all the congregation by the doorway of the tent of appointment, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not in the company of those who were met together against Jehovah in company with Korah, but he died on his own sin, and he had no sons. So they're saying here, our dad died, and he wasn't struck dead by Jehovah because of sin. He just died naturally in the wilderness. His sin was only that he didn't trust God like the rest of the children. And so why should the name of our father be removed from among his clan because he had no son? Give us a possession among the brothers of our father. Moshe then brought the case before Jehovah, and Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, The daughters of Sephohad speak what is right. You shall certainly give them a possession of inheritance among their father's brothers, and cause the inheritance of their father to pass to them. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, When a man dies and has no son, you shall cause the inheritance to pass to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give the inheritance to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, then you shall give the inheritance to his father's brothers. So here he's establishing that he really wants the land to stay amongst the people and not to be like all given away. And you saw during the laws in the year of Jubilee, if someone had to take a debt against their land because they fell on hard times, they got it back after a 7-year period. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan, and he shall possess it, and it shall be to the children of Israel a law of right ruling, as Jehovah commanded Moshe. And Jehovah said to Moshe, Go up into this mount Abiram, and see the land which I have given to the children of Israel. When you have seen it, you shall be gathered to your people as Aaron your brother was gathered, because you rebelled against my mouth in the wilderness of sin and the strife of the congregation to set me apart at the waters before their eyes. So God wanted to be an example to them. We talked about last time how he struck a rock, which the first time he was told to strike the rock, and the second time he was told to speak to it, which was a symbol of Jesus. But also, if you think about it, The idols that they worshipped in Egypt they were really fearful of them and really afraid. And God wanted to set himself apart as a loving, kind God that you could speak to. And they didn't have a good example when they struck the rock. So 27:15, and Moshe spoke to Jehovah, saying, let Jehovah, Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, appoint a man over the congregation who goes out before them and comes in before them, who leads them out and brings them in. So the congregation of Jehovah be not like sheep without a shepherd. And Jehovah said to Moshe, take Yehoshua, son of Nun, with you, a man in whom is the Spirit, and you shall lay your hand on him, and he shall set him before Eleazar the priest, and before the congregation, and give him command before their eyes, and shall put some of their esteem upon him, so all the congregation of the children of Israel obey him. And he is to stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire before Jehovah, for him by the right ruling of Urim. And Urim, remember the Urim and the Thummim are the lights that are in the vest of the high priest. And that's the way God would speak to them and tell them, yes, do this, no, do that. At his word, they go out, and at his word, they come in, both he and the children of Israel, both with him in the congregation. And Moshe did as Jehovah commanded, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before the congregation, and he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as Jehovah commanded by the hand of Moshe. So there we go. That takes us through chapter 27. A lot has happened, primarily the story of Balaam, and it's a big story about greed. And no matter, there is nothing in this world that is worth it, right? Go back to Psalms 90 and verse 10, where it says, the length of our years is 70 to 80, for the most part. And there's nothing worth it for eternity to give up your soul or to take something on for greed. You're just not going to have it that long. And no hearse or no U-Hauls follow a hearse, right? Anyway, Father God, I just praise you so much for this beautiful word and for this opportunity to be able to share it and to read it. And I pray, God, that if anyone from the sound of my voice hears this and they do not know you, that they would answer the knock, Father. You're knocking, knocking, knocking. And it's a time now where we should say yes and start to seek, because things are about to go crazy in this world, Father. And we just would hate for anyone to have to go through it needlessly. And I just praise you in all, Father, and for all and through all. And I just pray that you would be with us today and for always. Amen. All right. With that, be blessed. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. With any luck and with God's will, we'll be through with Numbers by Friday, and then we'll start a new book next week, probably from the beach. All right. With that, be blessed. Have a great day.